Opa. He lived with us when I was a kid. He never really learned English, so we spoke German at home for him. My parents were doctors, always working. Hat mir das Fahrradfahren beigebracht. He taught me how to ride a bike, taught me how to fish. You know Melita Maschmann?
She wrote a war memoir, right?
Yeah.
I know things.
She was a Nazi propagandist in the war. In the 60s, she wrote an autobiography explaining why she became a Nazi. And I was 12 years old, had to do a book report. Come across this book in the library and figure, hey, I can read this in the original German. It's got to be good for extra credit, right? So come home from school, Opa is there with my lunch, and he sees me put the book down on the table and just goes dead white. I ask him what's wrong, and he starts to cry. And he says, today is the day where you start to hate me.
He was a soldier in the war?
No, he was a Nazi. He believed.
But I mean, obviously, your dad...
What, married a black woman? Yeah. Prejudice is stupid. Doesn't have to make sense.
But he cried, so he had regrets.
He regretted my finding out. He knew I would never understand. And here I am looking at pictures of people who have been starved to death in camps, piled on in mass graves. When I was 12 years old, I knew history. I knew about all the evil things that happened in this country to people that looked like me. But now there was someone in my family, someone I loved, who did those kind of things. And he tried to explain to me. He said, sometimes a nation in crisis needs a patriot who does the unspeakable. No, he was right. That day, I started to hate him. 6 more years I lived in that house. Never spoke to him again. See, the Gestapo, the Geheime Staatspolizei, the secret state police were legitimate law enforcement for Nazis. They were government employees, storming into homes, into schools, into restaurants, ripping parents from their children, ripping husbands from their wives, and then shipping them off to detention centers. People think what happened in Germany could never happen here. There have been multiple reports of sexual abuse on women and children by guards in our detention centers right here. And we just scroll through those reports and shake our heads and do nothing. If we do nothing when we see our fellow human beings, our neighbors, being abused, detained, what happens next? Yeah, you're gonna have to finish lunch without me.
Wait, Andrea, don't get involved. Andrea!